This evening, Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo's memorable interview with Vice News. Vice President accuses the interviewer of trying to catch him and make a developing country leader look corrupt. National volleyball player is in critical condition in the hospital after being involved in an accident on Mandela Avenue. A Kaneville woman becomes the best graduating student in medicine in Guyana. In the region, Haiti faces more instability as MOISE'S term officially ends, and internationally, Burundi government accused of covering up deadly prison fire. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo, in an interview with Vice News, has denied claims of accepting payments in exchange for facilitating Chinese investors' business in Guyana. When questioned by journalist Isabel Ewing about allegations of taking bribes, Jagdeo admitted that he helped people but denied taking bribes. During the interview, Ewing pointed out that she had spoken to a Chinese lawyer who said that the only way to do business here was to pay bribes, and as long as the vice president was all right with this, everything would be clear. The vice president admitted that he knew the gentleman whose name was given as Mr. Su. Jagdeo said Su is his friend and his tenant. However, he stated if Su indeed made those allegations to the reporter, those allegations are false. When asked if he hired middlemen like Su to gain money on his behalf, he responded flatly, no. The answer is no. Jagdeo contended that the Integrity Commission should be able to appraise his holdings and that his assets, including his international bank accounts, had been investigated by the previous administration. The PPPC government has yet to appoint commissioners to the Integrity Commission despite its almost 2 years in office. The format in which the interview with Jagdeo will be published by Vice Media is unknown. The Guyana Police Force is looking into a horrible accident that resulted in the hospitalization of a national volleyball player who is stated to be in a critical condition. More from Mr. Sobers.
The Guyana Police Force is investigating a serious accident involving a motor lorry and a motor car at the intersection of Nelson Mandela Avenue and Homestretch Avenue on Monday, February 7, 2022. According to reports, motor lorry GWW 3741, driven by 31-year-old Omkar Portab of Resource Canal No. 2, West Bank Demerara, was proceeding north along Nelson Mandela Avenue, while motor car PPP 6198, driven by 22-year-old Christoph Shepard of Now or Never Myconi Village, East Coast Demerara, was proceeding east along Homestretch Avenue. According to the driver of the truck, he was approaching the intersection. The driver of the motor car was negotiating a right turn onto the eastern carriageway of Nelson Mandela Avenue to proceed south and ended up in the path of the lorry. As a result, the front right side portion of the motor lorry collided with the right side of the motor car. Due to the collision, both vehicles were damaged. The driver of the motor car, along with 2 occupants, was removed from the vehicle in a conscious state by the emergency medical technicians and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital Accident and Emergency Unit. The 2 occupants were treated for abrasions on their bodies and sent away, while the driver was treated for head injuries and admitted as a patient in a serious condition. A breathalyzer test was conducted on the driver of the motor lorry and no alcohol was found in his system. A notice of intended prosecution has been served. The motor lorry driver remains in custody, assisting with ongoing investigations. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Police are investigating an alleged drowning that claimed the life of a carpenter at the western side of Tempe Canal, West Coast, Berbice on Monday, February 7. That is 28-year-old Ramesh Ramphal of Britannia Village, West Coast, Berbice. Investigations so far have revealed that around 5 p.m., the deceased and his 23-year-old girlfriend, Rochelle Craig, were at the canal swimming. She told detectives that they were on the western side of the canal when the deceased walked over to the eastern side and backflipped into the canal and did not come up. After waiting for about 10 minutes with no sign of the deceased, she hurried to his home a mile away and informed his relatives. A search party was formed and they found the deceased stuck in the mud at the said area where he allegedly backflipped an hour after he went down. The body was escorted to the Fort Wellington Public Hospital where it was pronounced dead. The body is presently at the Bailey's funeral home awaiting a post-mortem examination. Investigations are ongoing. Stick around after the break. Guyana continues to record a reduction in COVID-19 cases, and a Kaneville woman becomes the best graduating medicine student in Guyana.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Welcome back. The Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, said the country continues to register a reduction in COVID-19 cases. However, the minister is reminding the population that the pandemic is still around and complacency could be fatal for some people, especially those who are unvaccinated or have underlying health conditions.
We are still not out of the pandemic. Omicron is still here with us and it can still infect people, and we can still have severe infections where people are hospitalized, and you can also see some of those persons dying.
The minister noted that the COVID Curb campaign continues with members of the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force, along with other agencies working with the population to help them understand the measures in place to reduce the spread of the disease.
While we would have had some measures of success, I think a lot of people have become very complacent, and their businesses who were once very vigilant with these measures have started relaxing them. And similarly with various entities. If we relax these measures now, we are still going to see transmission. And therefore, this is not some people doing the right thing and others being able to violate the rules. we have to take a conscious decision that all of us are going to be involved to make sure that we can protect ourselves and the population. So if all of us do the right thing, then the population would be protected. But if some of us are doing the right thing and others are not, then we'll still have weaknesses in the public health system.
Minister Anthony stated that people have become complacent, but that complacency may be faithful, especially if they are unvaccinated. Kaneville, a community on the east bank of the Marara River, is well known for its many crimes throughout the years, but Esther Sobers explains in this report that there is much more to that neighborhood.
Grateful while humbled to be the best graduating student of medical science in medicine from the University of Guyana, 24-year-old Ashana Singh, who was born and raised in the community of Kaneville, East Bank, Demerara, spoke of her journey in pursuing her degree in Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery.
My journey has been a truly remarkable one. There were some rough waters, some rougher than others, but all in all, I have matured, and I believe that throughout my journey, I've gained so much experience over the years. When I started out medical school, I started out as a teenager, and today I'm 24 years old, and it has truly been many challenges along the way, but many sleepless nights, many sacrifices were made, but all in all, I have matured as an individual, and I am so grateful to have completed this program today.
Singh, who is the second of 3 children, was honored by the Prime Minister of Guyana, Mark Phillips, with a gold medal and the Ralph Richard Prize in Clinical Medicine.
It was definitely a privilege. That was me meeting him for the very first time, and he had so many words of encouragement, and I think that moment and that being there receiving a medal from him is truly a memorable moment that will stay with me forever. And I'm so grateful to have received it from such an honorable person.
Coming from the community of Kaneville, which has been plagued with many crimes over the years, the future doctor intends to be a positive role model. She highlighted the community is filled with many intellectual and talented youths.
I was actually born and raised in Kaneville, and I am so grateful to have come out from there as a successful person. And I trust that my story will be an inspiration to the youths, especially of Kaneville. And there was one time my teacher in high school, he told us that it's not where you came from, but it's where you're going. And that is something that I, over the years, have, has stood with me throughout time. And Kaneville definitely has a lot of potential, and there are a lot of youths that certainly needs to be recognized as well, and there's so much more to come out of it. Yes, we hear of a lot of crimes in Kaneville and a lot of bad stuff, but there's also the good side, and today I'm honored to be first of all a villager of Kaneville, and to show others and to show people across Guyana and worldwide that we definitely have a lot of persons who come out with good grades at CSEC, good grades at CAPE, and definitely some remarkable individuals who contribute significantly to society.
The fascination of learning about the human body at a young age is one of the reasons for the Kaneville resident in pursuing her dreams in the medical profession.
Throughout my high school life, I fell in love with the sciences. I was actually in the science stream, and I became fascinated about the human body and everything that it entailed. And so when I finished high school, I began volunteering with numerous medical non-profit organizations, and we would have done outreaches throughout Guyana. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to do medicine, that is where I decided, because if you put, having a love to help people and being fascinated about the human body, you put those two together, I thought that medicine is the best fit for me.
For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Guyana police force is investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 64-year-old man who allegedly fell from a housetop at Yorkshire, Myconi, on the east coast of Demerara on Friday, February 4th. Dead is Omrowo Shamlal of Block 12, Nonpareil, East Coast, Demerara. According to the police report, Shamlal was at work at the time of the incident. He was employed by his cousin, who is a businessman. The businessman claims he was in his barn at the work site around 11:30 a.m. when he heard one of his employees scream, and he was notified that the victim fell from a beam on the housetop. The employer said he rushed to the scene and saw the man lying on the ground motionless. With the assistance of 2 workers, Shamlal was picked up and transported to the Myconi Public Hospital, where he was seen and pronounced dead on arrival. The body is at the hospital mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. Investigations are ongoing. Don't go away after the break. Haiti faces more instability as MOISE'S term officially ends, and Hong Kong restrictions tighten with COVID surge. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Here is Sister Sobers with the regional and international news.
Good evening. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Haitians are bracing for more violence and instability as assassinated President Jovenel Moïse's term in office has officially come to an end. But the crisis-stricken Caribbean nation appears no closer to a political transition. Al Jazeera Manuel Rapallo reports.
Security forces are on high alert in Port-au-Prince. Criticisms are growing over Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who has led Haiti since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse last year, for overstaying his mandate as interim leader.
Ariel Henry has no legitimacy to organize elections and no legitimacy to govern. The Haitian people cannot cope anymore with this current situation.
Though Henry counts on broad political support from the international community, he's sparked controversy for saying he has no plans to step down until the country holds new elections.
We must achieve good, non-partisan elections without fraud and without handing out money or violence.
Opposition groups are vying for a shot at filling the power vacuum left after the Moïse assassination. One group, known as the Montana Accord, have elected their own interim president and say the current ruling government should be rendered unconstitutional.
I think that the Montana Agreement is the best that Haitian people can have in their hands today. Because after President Moïse's death, we did not have any way to have a constitutional way to succeed Mr. Moïse there.
Adding to the crisis created by Moïse's death last July, Haitians are still reeling from a devastating 7.2 magnitude earthquake in August. And most recently, heavy rains that have left thousands of homes underwater. While an investigation into who ordered the killing of Haiti's late president remains unresolved, crimes like kidnapping and extortion linked to worsening gang violence in the country's capital have only grown.
We are in an exceptional situation of institutionalized violence. Criminality has emerged in the country with kidnapping cases. That also means there are setbacks in regards to human rights in 2021. That is what we have verified. And one of the examples that we can put forward is the case of the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse.
Analysts warn the insecurity and crippling economic conditions that have plagued the Caribbean nation for years are likely to only worsen as this latest chapter in Haiti's political crisis drags on. Manuel Rapallo, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, prisoners and their relatives in Burundi have told Al Jazeera that up to 400 inmates may have died in a prison fire in the capital, Gitega, in December last year. The government has confirmed the death of only 46 inmates. Al Jazeera Malcolm Webb has more.
This woman's husband was an inmate at Gitega prison in Burundi. We've hidden her face and changed her voice for her safety. When it caught fire 2 months ago, she was worried. She says she's been to the prison to try and find out if he survived, but she's not been able to see him since. The guards told her nothing and sent her away. She says another inmate told her her husband was among those who burned to death.
We don't know how they were buried. Our children keep asking me where their father is. I tell them that he died. One of them asked me, "Will you take us to see his grave?" When he hears someone calling me, he's asking if it is his father, because he didn't see his funeral or his body.
She's one of many relatives of inmates who haven't had any official answers. The nearly 100-year-old prison was overcrowded, holding 3 times as many inmates as it was built for. Survivors say one block was badly burned and the guards refused to unlock the doors. Burundi's vice president visited the following day. He said an electrical fault started it. The government has since said a report is being prepared and that 46 inmates died. We spoke to an inmate who says that's not true.
From my cell, I could see the bodies being removed in the morning. They pitched tents, and in each tent they packed 15 to 20 bodies. And we counted, there were 20 tents, so it's about 300 or 400. A shocking number of dead people.
The government declined to comment when we asked. Rights groups say the government's trying to cover up a disaster for which it's responsible and that it should investigate and publish the list of names of those who died.
When you have a fire such as this with potentially massive death counts that goes well beyond the official number, that's an embarrassment. It reflects the reality, which is that there is a systemic issue with incarceration in Burundi.
This man says he wants to know what happened to his brother who was an inmate, but he fears being jailed or killed himself.
We cannot continue asking questions for the sake of our safety. Asking again is like a criminal offence. We have to keep quiet.
He's from one of dozens, maybe hundreds of bereaved families seeking closure, but are too scared to even ask what happened to their loved ones. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera.
And finally, Hong Kong reported a record number of 626 COVID-19 cases on Tuesday, prompting the strictest social distancing rule in the territory since the pandemic began. Al Jazeera's Britt Clennett reports.
A record surge of cases in Hong Kong, triggering the city's toughest pandemic measures yet.
Today we are in a severe pandemic situation. I hope that the public will accept that we have to go back to the most stringent level.
From Thursday, only 2 people will be allowed to dine out together. More venues, including places of worship, will be ordered to close. And for the first time, there will be limitations on private gatherings at home too. The new round of measures also focus on the need for vaccine passes in order to improve low vaccination rates among the elderly, with residents needing to prove they're immunised against COVID-19 to enter shopping malls and wet markets. Fines for those who break the rules will double to nearly $1,300.
I agree with the measures because the situation is worsening. Otherwise, how can we get the virus under control? We have to be patient.
I think the government should encourage people to stay at home instead. The government should open more testing centres so that people do not have to gather here.
There is no difference between 2 people or 4 people gathering. The government should think about how to control the spread of the virus. These social distancing measures are meaningless.
A shortage of vegetables is adding to pandemic grievances in Hong Kong after truck drivers who tested positive were unable to transport them from mainland China into the import-reliant territory. Panicked shoppers swept several local markets clear of fresh produce. Mainland Chinese authorities have offered to help with labour shortages if hospitals become overwhelmed. For now, Hong Kong appears to be sticking to the same zero-tolerance strategy adopted by the mainland, with lockdowns and mass testing now commonplace. Testing centres like this one are scattered across the city. Since cases started to escalate, they've seen a surge in demand, with long queues forming. Hong Kong's cases might still sound low compared to other major cities, but for many people here, this is uncharted territory. Britt Clennett, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.
Thanks, Esther. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is it for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.